Sunny September felt like the beginning of something big. The air in suburban Austin was filled with golden light, and the walls of River Hill High School once again echoed with the voices of teenagers hurrying to class. Emily Hale, a 32-year-old English teacher, had long since stopped worrying about her first period of the year, except that this year, something was different. Or someone. He walked into the classroom a little later than the others, tall and tan, his backpack slung casually over his shoulder. His hair was dark and slightly wavy, his eyes the color of amber. He caught her eye immediately and did not look away, even when she asked him to sit down. "You must be new," she said, trying to sound reserved. "Yes, Mum. Jason Brooks. Just moved from Arizona." "Ma'am." It sounded almost mockingly tender. He sat down at the last desk by the window, and everything else, the discussion of Shakespeare, the distribution of assignments, became a blur. Everything went on as usual. Lessons, assignments, parent, teacher conferences. Emily was dating Josh, an engineer from a neighboring company, but their relationship was more like a friendship with regular sex and rare trips to the movies. She didn't have children, although she had dreamed of them before. Now it was just books and school. With Jason, everything was on the edge. He was smart, wrote surprisingly mature essays, often stayed after classes, asking questions not only about literature, but also about life. His gaze became dangerously intense when she smiled. "Don't you get bored of being correct all the time?" he asked once. "You have no idea how much," she answered too quickly. His eyes flashed, and then she realized that she had said too much. It happened in November. In the evening, when almost everyone had left, he came into the office under the pretext of talking about Shakespeare's The Storm. "You care about my life, don't you?" he said. "You're my student. This is my job. But not only that. I feel it. I'm not a child, Emily." The way he said her name, slowly, as if tasting it. They kissed, first hesitantly, then greedily. Everything in her, reason, duty, fear, screamed, no. But her body, tired of loneliness, craved this touch. "Are you 18? She breathed out. He nodded. She didn't ask for identification. She simply locked the office door. Thus began a double life. Lessons, meetings, homework, and forbidden touches after the bell rang. In the basement of the school library, in her car, once even in an empty classroom when everyone had gone to fire drill, she had changed, and she hated herself for it. "This is crazy," she whispered after each time. "But you keep going," he replied, and kissed her again. She didn't know what scared her more, that he might get caught, or that she wanted more than sex, more than a secret. Her soul was cracking with guilt. And yet she kept going. She spent Christmas in a coma. Emily lied to Josh that she was going to her parents, but she stayed in town. Jason came to her almost every night. They watched movies, drank wine. He easily got a bottle through forged documents, made love on the floor, on the kitchen table, under the Christmas tree. "You'll leave later, right?" he said one day, lying next to her. "What?" "Well, when I finish school. Am I just a game to you?" "Jason, tell me that I mean something to you." She didn't answer, because she was afraid to tell the truth. In the spring, she began to notice the looks. Her colleagues became strangely silent when she appeared, and one of the seniors, Tom, more than once, looked at her with some kind of malicious squint. One day, Jason was furious. "Someone took a photo of us. We were walking to you, and someone was in the bushes by the parking lot. Oh my God. I'll crush whoever did this. You shouldn't come to me anymore. Are you serious?" She nodded. He left without looking back. Emily sank to the floor, and for the first time in a long time, she really cried. In April, she was called to the principal's office. There were 3 people in the office: the principal, the counselor, and a police officer. "We received an anonymous complaint, with photos." "That's a lie. Jason Brooks claims that everything happened by mutual consent. But you are a teacher, he is a student. This is a serious violation, Emily." The world was falling apart. The room was spinning before her eyes. She felt everything slipping away. Her job, her reputation, her future. "I want a lawyer." The story broke on the local news. Teacher arrested for having sex with a student. Jason's photo, and a blurry shot of her, both on the screen. Her neighbor no longer said hello. The parents of the students demanded the principal's dismissal. Josh sent her an angry message. "You are sick." She ended up in solitary confinement for 3 days before bail could be posted. The lawyer said, "You were lucky he is an adult. But professionally speaking, you were dead." Emily sat in her apartment, her arms wrapped around her active knees. Jason wrote, "I'm sorry. I didn't know it would be like this." She didn't answer. The school terminated her contract. Her teaching license was gone. All that was left were 4 walls and empty days. People in town knew her. They judged her. Some teenagers added her on social media, out of curiosity or lust. She deleted all her accounts. Her parents didn't understand. "You ruined everything, Amy. For a boy?" She couldn't talk anymore. Night after night, she dreamed about him, about the way he looked at her on the first day, about holding her hand in the dark. They never saw each other again. The trial took place in the summer. The prosecutor insisted on probation and community service. The judge was stern but fair. "Your behavior is unacceptable. You let down your students, your colleagues, yourself." She received a 3-year suspended sentence and was required to register as a professional ethics violator with the right to reinstatement in 10 years. It was a sentence and a chance. At least some. After the trial, Emily left. She sold her apartment, deleted the old SIM card, and moved to a small town in northern Texas, to her late aunt's house. No one knew her there. In the store, they talked to her just like a new neighbor. Nothing more. She worked as a freelance editor and learned not to be afraid of her own reflection. But at night, the dreams did not let go. Jason in them was sometimes a child, sometimes a man. Sometimes he cursed, sometimes he begged for forgiveness. She woke up in a sweat, wiped away tears, and made coffee before dawn. Almost a year passed. One day, she found a letter in the mailbox, without a return address. "I can't keep silent anymore. All this time I blamed myself. I wanted to tell the truth. I fought, but everyone was silent. Forgive me. I would do it all again, but I would do it differently. Jay." She clutched the paper. Her heart pounded again, not in her mind but in her body. He was still out there somewhere. A couple of months later, she learned. Jason had gone to college in Austin. He was studying psychology. He volunteered at a shelter. Sometimes his name would pop up in the news articles, interviews, where he would talk about how school had changed his approach to life. She tried to ignore it, but one day, she couldn't stand it anymore and went into town, just to see him from the outside. He was standing on the steps of the campus, surrounded by students, laughing, alive, free. And she was a hooded shadow across the street. Their eyes met. He froze, recognized. She turned away abruptly and walked away, but she heard behind her, "Emily?" He caught up with her. They stood in silence for a few seconds. "You're alive." He said it, like he was afraid she would disappear. "I shouldn't have come. But you did. It means nothing. It means everything to me." Chapter 13. Sin or Destiny. They went to a cafe. He ordered tea with honey. Like before, she ordered black coffee. "I thought you hated me," he said. "I tried, but that means I'm still thinking about you." He reached out, touched her fingers. "I'm an adult now. Really. And I still love you." Emily pulled her hand away. "It can't be. I don't want to ruin everything again." "Then tell me you never felt anything for me. Tell me, and I'll leave." She looked at him, at the man that boy had become. Feelings rushed through her, as if all those years had been cut out with a knife. "I can't." They walked out together. He walked her to the car, but didn't kiss her. He just held her hand for a long time, like a goodbye, or like the beginning of something. They started writing to each other, without plans, without expectations, just frankly. He talked about college, about fears, about therapy. She, about silence, loneliness, trying to forgive herself. One day he wrote, "If you were not a teacher, but just a woman, I would fight for you. Not then, but now. Because now, I know what responsibility is." She read the message 10 times and replied, "I'm not a teacher anymore. I'm just a woman with a broken heart." A week later, he came to her town, knocked on the door with flowers. No hints, no conditions, just to see you smile. She laughed for the first time in 2 years. Let him into the house. He walked in as if he had always lived here. They didn't attack each other. They just sat next to each other, listened to music. They talked about books, about a future that was impossible, but which they still wanted to dream about. "If we stay together," she said, "we will be judged forever. But if we don't try, I will regret it for the rest of my life. And if I lose myself again," he took her hand, "then we will be lost together and found together." They remained friends, or more, but without labels. He came on weekends. They made love, cooked, slept in the same bed, hugging, without sex, without fear. Until one warm summer morning, she said, "I'm not afraid anymore." And then they made love again for the first time, not as fugitives, but as survivors of a storm. 2 more years passed. Jason graduated from college, started a master's degree. Emily got her license back, but didn't go to work at a school. She opened an online literature course. Hundreds of students from different states signed up for her. Their story was a secret known only to them. There were no more peeping, whispers, threats. Just them, their house, their garden where roses grew. One day, he said, "We could have died, but maybe it all happened so that we would learn to love correctly." She nodded. "We were wrong, but now we don't hide." 10 years after the scandal, Emily wrote a book, a semi-autobiographical novel. It was published under a pseudonym, but instantly became a bestseller. Readers discussed the heroine, a teacher who broke all the rules for the sake of love. Once in an interview, she said, "Sometimes love comes at the wrong time, but that doesn't make it wrong, just complicated." On the cover was a photo of dawn over Texas, and on the last page, a dedication to those who are learning to love and forgive, and to Jay, without whom there would be no story. Many years later, when her hair began to turn grey, and he worked as a psychotherapist, they went to that very town, River Hill. They walked near the school. No one recognized them. They held hands. "Do you remember that first day?" he asked. As if it were yesterday. They sat on a bench, watched schoolchildren running around the field. Someone laughed, and in that laughter there was everything. Youth, stupidity, hope. "We're still alive," she said, "and still in love." They kissed, slowly, calmly, without fear. Life went on,